What's cracking YouTube? I'm TKNORTH. In this video, I'm going to be putting the Vivo X60 Pro to the test. As a photographer, this is a really exciting phone. It's got a Zeiss camera setup. Yes, you heard correctly, this camera setup is co-engineered with Zeiss, which is pretty crazy in itself, and you know when you hear Zeiss that this camera is not going to be messing around. It also features 5-axis gimbal stabilization built in, which is another feature that makes this phone really stand out for anyone who's interested in photo and video. Just a quick disclaimer that this video is sponsored by Vivo. I've done some work for them on Instagram as well if you want to check that out. Rather than give you a full in-depth review of this phone though, I really wanted to just show you what's possible in terms of photography when you're using this phone and how to get the most out of these amazing features that are jammed into a small device that you can fit right in your pocket. So let's jump in and take a quick look at the specs. Look and feel, this phone seriously feels good in hand. The finish on the back feels really great, and for me it looks super sexy as well. It does come with this protective case right out of the box as well. The screen is a real standout. It is a 6.56 inch AMOLED Ultra O screen. It has these curved edges, just enough for me to provide that nice finish without curving too heavily. The screen size is bang on as well, just large enough but not oversized that it feels kind of too big in hand. The screen looks seriously good. I'm certainly not a big gamer, but I do play a bit of Call of Duty Mobile. This phone is by far the best experience I've had gaming on a phone. It has 120 Hz refresh rate. It also has this gaming mode that automatically pops up to turn on whenever you open up your favorite game, whether you're just watching YouTube, movies, TV. The picture quality is stunning and the color representation is really great as well. It's powered by the Snapdragon 870 processor and runs off extended RAM technology. But of course, as a photographer, I'm most interested in how the cameras perform. And for this phone, there's a lot to like. As camera phones get better and better in terms of quality, what really stood out for the Vivo X60 Pro for me was the gimbal stabilization. For photos, this means your images will be sharper because it's really reducing that camera shake that you might have, especially in low light conditions. And for video, the video stabilization on this thing is crazy due to its 5-axis gimbal stabilization. Taking a quick look at the camera setup, on the rear there's 3 cameras. You've got the main 48 megapixel camera, which is equivalent to around 26mm and has an aperture of f1.5. You've got the 13 megapixel wide angle camera, which is equal to about 16mm and it's f2.2. And then you've got the ×2 tele lens, which again is 13 megapixel at f2.5. And then you've got digital zoom past that as well. Also got the 32 megapixel selfie front camera, which is f2.45. So the X60 Pro offers a range of different shooting modes and features, which I'm going to go through now. You really don't have to be a professional photographer to really get the most out of them as well. These are all easy to access from the bottom of the menu. First one I'll mention that I use a lot is the Pro mode. Importantly for me, all 3 of the rear cameras offer Pro mode, which is great. This means you can shoot full raw images, which gives you a lot more data when you're editing your photos. This is really important for me as a photographer. I always shoot raw where possible. It also means you have full manual control over your settings if you wish to. For me, the main 48 megapixel camera is a real standout. It offers insane detail and sharpness for a phone. If you're not really interested in shooting in RAW or Pro mode, you'll be pleased by the different modes that offer great quality photos straight out of camera, not really requiring much editing. If you do want to edit these, I still found even with the JPEGs, you can get a nice result as well. So firstly, testing out the different portrait modes, which offer a really nice depth of field. As a photographer, this is often the biggest difference between phones and your real pro mirrorless or DSLR cameras. But I will say on the X60 Pro, these portrait modes give you some really great results. There is a few different options and styles you can pick from here. If you click into style, I particularly like the Zeiss Biotar style, giving you more of a rounding of the bokeh in the background. After you've taken the photo, you can also play around with the level of bokeh you want. I found if you don't push this all the way to the maximum, you get a nice natural looking result. Next up, looking at night mode, which again is really easy to use, really great results without having to be an experienced or pro photographer. So if you're not interested in using a tripod, the gimbal stabilization here definitely makes a big difference, giving you sharper images handheld. If doing longer exposures, although not always required, you can definitely make these images even sharper and get some really awesome results by using a tripod as well. Here I shot some long exposures in pro mode where you can manually adjust your shutter speed and can also shoot raw files. This overall gives you an awesome result. To do this, make sure you have RAW enabled at the top. You can manually change your shutter speed, and then you can easily just add these raw files straight into Lightroom Mobile to start editing. All the edited photos shown in this video have been edited on the X60 Pro just by using Lightroom Mobile. The phone also offers macro if you want to focus on something really close up to the camera. To do this, all you need to do is try and focus on something right up close and it will automatically shoot in macro. Next up, looking at the video, which shoots 4K up to 60 frames per second, and you can also get a really smooth result by using the gimbal stabilization. Here you can see with ultra stabilization turned on and then with it completely turned off. It basically has three options, which is off, just regular, and then ultra stabilization. For using the ultra stabilization, there is a few limitations. You can only shoot 1080p, for example, rather than 4K, but even the standard stabilization works in 4K and does a pretty awesome job as well. Lastly, anyone who knows me pretty well will know that I love to shoot time lapses, so having an inbuilt time lapse feature is really important. As well as having the inbuilt time lapse feature, you can also get some really good results by using pro mode. Here I just manually press the shutter at regular intervals so I could shoot these long exposures and put it into a time lapse. There are some other features which unfortunately I haven't had the chance to test out yet, including shooting some astrophotography, which I think you'll be able to get some really great results on this phone. There's also a supermoon feature which I'm keen to test out. So if you are considering the Vivo X60 Pro, it is a super powerful Android device and you should definitely check it out if you're into photography or videography. From my experience, you're definitely not going to be disappointed and you can get some really amazing results from this phone. All right, that's it from me. Keep creating, keep growing. I'm TKNORTH. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.
Say bye for now.
Bye for now.